Alright, this is my latest project, and I'm pretty much halfway through this process, but I thought maybe I should be filming it. My voice is messed up because I have a cold, so I sound weird. But this is a very precious sample. What I'm making is a Victorian style mourning locket, and it's a hair locket. So I have my locket. It started out like this one, and I had some little plastic, I guess you could say it's false jet jewels, which I applied to it. This needs to be dried. It's still very wet with weld bond glue. Now, I'm not going to open this one because the jewel might fall off. I'll open this one to show the inside. That's what the inside is going to look like. It's kind of dusty. But I'm going to put the hair on this side of the locket, and on the I'm going to put a piece of clear plastic as an insert to simulate glass. Once the hair is in, I'm going to try to see if I can braid or plait the hair. It's going to be quite the task because it's only about 1.5 inches long. On this side, I'm going to see if I can make a little piece of paper or something look aged with the name and everything written in an old style text, and then glue that on the inside. So I'd have a Victorian style mourning locket. Now what I have here is the hair in shampoo. Now usually you probably wouldn't have to wash hair, but this particular sample is from my dog Bandit. Now she died when I was 7 years old. And when I was 18 years old, I went to her gravesite because when she died, my parents were having the property bulldozed, so instead of digging her a proper grave, they just had the guy with the bulldozer cover her over with the waste from the land. So it wasn't a very good grave for her, and I thought she deserved a proper burial with more respect. So I dug her up, and I found a sample of her hair around her choke chain, which I also have. And I found that mummified, so I saved as much of it as I could. I got a small baggie full of her hair. So I figured I'd wash this and make a mourning locket, because she's very important to me. She's a very good life lesson, very good teacher. And because I already have it out, I will probably, set that there, I will show you the rest of it. It's going to be really hard to see through the bag because I keep it in bags because it was in a grave from the time I was 7 till 18. So that's 11 years, I think. So, I mean, her choke chain is pretty deteriorated. There it is here. And I don't even think they make choke chains. Like, this is only a part of her choke chain. And there's a lot of rust. And you can see that there is some hair still stuck on there. Now, some of you are probably thinking that I'm really disgusting and morbid, but it's not very morbid from the time of old, and that's the baggie with her hair in it. And that's a little note. I forget what's even on it. Oh, it just says what's in that bag. Bandit, hair, teeth, and choker chain. I also had her 2 top canines. I still have them. One's in a shadow box with a sketch of her, because there's not very many pictures. And also a couple other little things in that shadow box. I also have one of her teeth made into a necklace, which I sometimes wear. Again, I make everything myself. Here's a photo of her. Here she is right there. That's me and Bandit when I was 7. It was just a little bit before she died. This would have been August, maybe. Now, this is not the exact size, because this is the size of the outer casing. So I will have to trim it down. Quite a bit. Okay, I want it to be the inner side, but just a little bit bigger. So I'll trace this outer ring with the plastic. This will be just a shade bigger than needed. see the little outline probably. See if it fits in this one. That should fit in there good. It'll have to be squished a bit, but that'll lock it in place. It's almost dry. It's dry enough to work with. Now, these are about the same size, so while I have this out, I'm going to use this as a trace template for the piece of paper that's going to go in here. I want to make it look a little bit more vintage, or authentic actually. So this is a piece of paper that looks very homemade. I'll find a spot that looks particularly interesting, or just use the edge to save paper. It's smaller, but it'll work once the glue is on it. I'm going to attempt to do some writing on this. I don't know how it's going to turn out. Sketch of Bandit. I usually start with noses first because they're so easy. Now the hair will be a little trickier because it's just a pressure fit. I want it to remain long. Float like that, and that should create a curve. It's very, very brittle. In there like that. See if I can get this plastic in without damaging it. The knots on the cord are keeping it from going down flat. As long as I can get it in there and then run a bead of fabric paint around the edge to seal it, it should be okay. But I want that hair in there. So the hair is poking out. For some reason this does not want to stay in there. So unfortunately this will have to be trimmed. Alright, now that is ready for putting some glue on the outside, on the outer ridge. I just want to move this in a bit more so you can actually see more of it visible. Now I'm going to get my glue. Well, the plastic is in. After it drove me insane. Now this dries clear. Dab it in the corners to seal it.
Now the only option.
Should be okay. And then after that dries, it'll be ready for the chain and everything. We'll let this dry and see how it goes. This is the finished product of my Mourning Locket. The glue is completely dry. And there's the inside. Hoping it focuses. There's her hair there. You can see a bit of the bubbling of the plastic. That's because of the knot there. It won't sit in right, but it is stuck in there and it's not going to come out. And that is my Victorian style Mourning Locket.